and welcome to part 2 of the promised 5-part series in the beginning of this year. I told you that my New Year's gift to you is a 5-part series that keeps you safe from emotionally abusive guys. I looked at my analytics. A majority of the people who watch me are females like myself. So you're welcome, my ladies, and this now is part 2 of the promised 5-part series. If you haven't watched part 1, you can watch it after this one or before this one. It's not in a chronological order, so you can watch either of the two first. So welcome once more. All right, so this is yet another way in which you can tell if a guy is emotionally abusive or not. Like, you can tell early enough, this is a huge red flag, and you don't have to go through some of the stuff that some of us have gone through. So in my 20s, I didn't know what I know now in my 30s. And this is why I'm sharing, because I've been with 1 or 2 emotionally abusive guys. So when you are talking, does he pay attention? And when? When does he pay attention? Observe. So if you're talking about what he gets, not what you get, what he gets. For instance, if you're talking about you're going to make a meal for you guys, so you're asking him, would you like me to make rice or pasta? And you're asking him questions such as with mincemeat or this, and you're explaining to him what you know how to make, and all his attention is on you. You can feel that you have him in the room with you. You can feel it, right? You can tell when someone is actually listening to you and not just hearing words, right? Words are not just, around the room and he's sort of like hearing you but not really listening. So if he's gonna get something like, in this example, food, you can tell that he's paying attention and he's listening. So he's gonna get food, right? You're going to cook. Or if you're going to be intimate later on, you guys are going to sleep together. You're like saying things such as, should we book a hotel room here or should we go back to your place? And he's paying attention because, he will get sex, right? So what will he get, right? Food, sex, or maybe you guys have business plans together. You've invested together and you're telling him about, okay, so we put 5,000 euro here, and then you give me 1,500 euro, and then I'll give you 2,000. Like, you're just discussing who gives what, and how are you going to pump that into the business. Or you have an idea and he's listening. You have him there in the room. You can feel it that you have someone's attention, right? He's not just hearing you, he's actually actively listening. And you feel it that you are being heard. So what is he getting? Food, sex, money. There's something he's going to get. So he's paying attention, like very close attention. But when it comes to what you will get or what is disturbing your mind, you suddenly notice you don't have him, right? He's there. He is there in the room with you. He might even be looking at you, but you can tell he's not listening, because sometimes someone gives you a blank stare and they're just doing that, like that, but they're not listening, or they're like looking around. And you can tell you don't have their attention. They're not listening. They're hearing you and going like, yeah, you're right. Or he leans back. He's on his phone. He's like, yeah, he looks up to you. And yeah, you're right. Yeah. But he's not listening. Like, he's only hearing you. If you were to ask him a question, he wouldn't have any idea what you were going on about. Or he's on his laptop suddenly. Or he took the remote control and he's like, just switching channels and going like, yeah, baby, yeah. Notice when you have him and when you don't have him. If you only have him when there's something that he benefits, and then when there's something you benefit or you just want to be heard. Sometimes as women, they say that women speak more words than men. Sometimes as women, you just want someone to listen. You had a bad day at work or in your friendship circles, someone is being mean to you or whatever, and you just want to rant, you just want to be heard. And you notice he's looking around. It's like, okay, that happened. Okay, yeah, he has the remote. You never have him when it comes to what you will get. So in short, if he's going to get food in his belly, he's going to have sexual satisfaction, he's going to have an extra dollar in his pocket, he's going to have some kind of validation, he's going to benefit in some ways, you have his full attention. But if you need support, if you need to be heard, if you need an extra dollar, if you need sexual satisfaction or food, and he's not in the mood to cook, or you're unwell, you need someone to cook for you, or he's not in the mood to have sex, then it's like he's not listening to a word you're saying, not a single word. And you can tell that suddenly there's a wall between you two. There's a whole wall between you two. You're like standing there talking to a wall. That is a huge red flag. And women, we like to overlook that. We are like, oh, he's probably overwhelmed. But why is he always only overwhelmed when it comes to what you will get? But when it comes to what he will get, he is never overwhelmed. Stop being in denial. These are some of the things that I was in denial while I was in my 20s. And then looking back, you're like, oh my gosh, I got emotionally abused when all the red flags were there from the start. Don't be in denial, ladies. I know it's hard, but just take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Think about it for a minute. You feel his spirit and you feel his attention fully. You feel heard, you feel appreciated. When? Ask yourself when. It's only when he gets something in return. But when it is your turn to be heard, your turn to get something, you lose him. You lose him and you've noticed a pattern. That's a huge red flag. So the question you should always ask yourself is, when do I have his full attention? Okay? When do I have him in the room with me? Like really he's there in the room with me. And when do I not have him in the room with me? So when you need to go take care of your own family. So you're talking about your sick aunt. You're talking about someone you need to visit at the hospital. You're talking about kids in your family that need you to go pick them up from school. He's never in the room with you. Like you're like, hey, did you hear me? Did you hear me? Hast du mich verstanden? Like, did you understand me? That's German for like, did you understand me? I'm talking to you. Hey, you feel so unheard, unseen. And then he's like, yeah, I hear you. But he didn't hear anything. So he's like, sorry, what did you say again? Like, when it's something to do with you, you always lose him. That was a red flag that, in my 20s, when I was with this emotionally abusive guy, I didn't know, like I knew that something is wrong. But then as you grow older, you become wiser. So now you can pinpoint, I always only used to have his attention when he got something. So like, if he needs your help, I need you to drive my sister's kids to their school, and then I need you to go pick up my mom, and you try to explain to him like, just the logistics of it. He's there, he's listening, you have his full attention because he needs something from you. You're gonna do things for his family's kids or for his mother. You always have him with you, full attention, undivided attention. You feel satisfied, you feel heard. But when? It's only when he needs something. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that every time someone doesn't pay attention to you, it's a red flag. No, sometimes people, have a lot on their own mind. They are busy in their own mind. Sometimes people are distracted. Sometimes people are stressed, but they don't say it. So that's okay. There's always that 1 or 2 times where people don't fully listen. But I'm talking about a pattern where it is constant and you are sure that you've seen a pattern every single time it's about you and what you get, he's not in the room with you. And you're sure there's a pattern there. But when you need him, like you need him to be there for you, nothing. When he needs you to be there for him, everything. That's a red flag. So watch out, my ladies who are in the dating game. Thank you for watching me. Be sure to subscribe and share with your friends and family. If you notice that you only have his attention when he needs something, you might want to reconsider that relationship, because that's how I got used to not being listened to in that particular relationship. And because I didn't know any better, I brushed it off, only for me to be very emotionally abused by him. And now looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, let me just warn someone else that, just have your radar up for that one, because that's a red flag, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Again, Happy New Year, and part 3 coming soon.